In 2019, short-form social media platform TikTok broke into the billions. The app reached more than 1.5 billion cumulative downloads and entered its era of mainstream popularity. That year of TikTok brought us the breakthrough of Lil Nas X, the beginnings of Charli D'Amelio, and the building of the monstrously popular platform that we know today. TikTok users will often cite 2019 as their chosen year of nostalgia. More specifically, the summer of 2019. Simply Googling that phrase will lead you to mashups and rewinds of trends from that summer, with hundreds of thousands of views per video. And on TikTok itself, the summer 2019 hashtag has accrued more than 356 million views. Throwbacks to this period of TikTok are frequent, and entire accounts are dedicated to reliving the nostalgia of the summer of 2019. While many trends make up this well-loved era of TikTok, including Visco Girl memes, plans to raid Area 51, and much more, the most lasting ones seem to be dance challenges, including the One-Up Girl. Originating from musical artist VGR's remix of Jump Up Superstar from Nintendo's Super Mario Odyssey, the One-Up Girl is a dance trend that took TikTok by storm. It was recreated by popular verified creators such as Tutti McNutti and Avani, and further spread by your everyday TikTok user. Perhaps its popularity was the result of the easily recreated choreography, perhaps it was the hilarity of users being unable to draw a proper star. Regardless of the reasons behind its success, the One-Up Girl is now a staple in TikTok history, generating its own compilations, and has accumulated more than 16 million plays on Spotify. But what of One-Up Girl's creator? Where is she now?
Hi. I'm Umi, otherwise known online as uwumi or the One-Up Girl. As a lot of you probably know, I began my content creation career dancing on TikTok. I had some popular posts here and there, but the One-Up Girl trend was by far my biggest contribution to the platform, and it still remains one of my most recognizable works to date. Not to brag, but Epic even contacted me at one point in regards to making a Fortnite dance, but that's a story for another time. I still post the occasional dance on TikTok, but nowhere near the frequency that I used to. So you might be asking, what happened between then and now? In short, dancing wasn't ever really something I was truly passionate about. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I took several years of dance lessons, a variety of them, like jazz and hip-hop and tap, and I still enjoy learning K-pop dances and TikTok choreographies, but it's something I've never really seen myself doing long-term, and especially not as a career. When I started posting on TikTok, I was just a bored college freshman wanting to recreate dances on her For You page. To my surprise, I started to gain a following from that, so I started making my own dances too. As my following increased, it seemed like content creation could be more than just a hobby, and instead an opportunity to build a community around my passions and grow as a creator. And to me, growth meant moving away from dancing. Yes, I like doing it, and it's technically what my brand was built on, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do forever. I had so many other things I wanted to share with people, anyone who would listen, like my love for gaming, or my love for TV and film analysis, mechanical keyboards, plushies, anything and everything, so long as someone wanted to hear about it. I started streaming on Twitch shortly after One-Up Girl went viral and continued to force feed my existing audience my other interests. The amalgamation of my new content was like a car wreck at a 15-way intersection, with all my interests crashing into one another, but much like a real car wreck, at least it was hard for people to look away from. A lot of people who saw the new content liked it and accepted it, but it was still a hard change to go through, and it still is 3 years later. I know this pivot from TikTok twinkle toes to aspiring Twitch streamer number 4,780,002 was bound to drive away people who were only interested in my dancing, but I don't see a point in doing what I do unless I'm happy doing it. So that's where I am today, spending a little less time on people's TikTok For You pages and more time creating content I genuinely enjoy and sharing it with a community that I am so super fortunate to have. And it is thanks to that wonderful community that we are doing basically an updated Q&A today. This past month was the One-Up Girl 3-year anniversary, so I asked them to submit some questions in my Discord about One-Up Girl and what it's done to change me into the creator that I am today. You can join my Discord, link down below, in order to join future projects, potentially, and also just to stay up to date. Just a short life update before we start. I graduated this past, I finished my degree this past fall, and then I walked in the graduation ceremony this spring. So I'm officially a college graduate, woo-hoo-hoo. I've been streaming pretty consistently for 4 days a week per week, but I've recently cut down to 3 days a week so I can focus more on YouTube as well. Hi YouTube frogs, leave a comment, like, subscribe, yada yada. And if you don't watch my stuff on Twitch, maybe you should consider doing it because I'm way more active on there than on YouTube, sorry. I'm planning on going to TwitchCon this year in October in San Diego, so if you're planning on heading there, you might see me there. And I'm doing some like life improvement stuff. I've been working out, as you can clearly see, and I've been eating better, so that's my life right now. On to the real questions. The first question that we have today is, if you didn't start posting on TikTok or start streaming, where do you think you'd be in life right now? I would probably be somewhere in social media still. I graduated this past spring with my Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies, which included some social media marketing things. I also took some communications and public relations classes, so I think I would definitely be somewhere social media adjacent, more so just behind the camera instead of in front of it. I'd ideally like to work in the gaming realm, somewhere in esports or just with gaming companies, just because it's something that I like. Next up, how has your outlook on content creation changed or evolved since graduating? I think since graduating, I've formed a much healthier relationship with content creation as time has passed. I always keep my community in mind, but I also am doing the best to ensure that I enjoy doing whatever I do. At the end of the day, if I don't like the content that I make, then I'm gonna burn out way faster, and ideally, I'd like to do this for as long as I can. Since graduating though, I must admit I do worry about the reality of pursuing content creation full-time. It's a 1 in a million shot of being successful and sustainable with it, and it requires consistent time and effort. This year, 2022, is technically my first full year attempt at full-time content creation, and depending on where I am at the end of this year, social media wise, it'll determine whether or not I'll be able to do this full-time. A year of full-time content creation is a really short amount of time to gauge whether or not I could do this successfully in the future, because it takes more than a year to build that success. But I also have to consider how realistic it is that I'll be able to support myself financially with this. After all, I do want to move out of my parents' house eventually. If content creation doesn't end up being sustainable for me, at least full-time, I'd love to still be doing it part-time, just with another job, like I mentioned before. This next one is, do you have any regrets about any aspects of your career? My biggest regret by far thus far is not integrating my other interests into my content sooner. As much as I enjoyed posting dance content on TikTok back in the day, only posting that content really dug myself into a hole that is extremely hard to get out of. My followers then expected that content out of me, and I felt an obligation to meet that expectation. I've since grown out of that mindset, and I make the content that I want to make now, and I'm losing a good chunk of the original following that I had, but I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it now as rebuilding a community that likes me for the content that I love, and I'd rather have that any day over the original number of followers I had. Sort of tying into the last one, this next question reads, do you regret creating the one-up girl dance? As much as I talk about wanting to break this mold of TikTok dancer that I've built myself into, I don't think I'll ever regret making the one-up girl dance, or any of my old dance content for that matter. It seemed to make a lot of people happy, and it had a positive, lasting impact. And I think that's mainly what I want to do with my content, whether that's dancing or anything else that I do. It also helped me reach a wider audience, which is always good for growth, and it connected me with VGR, who made the One Up Girl song, and I got to sing a line on one of his other songs, which was really cool, and I would have never been able to do that before. The only teensiest, weensiest little thing that I regret about making the One Up Girl trend is that the song now lives in my nightmares. It is there always, and it triggers a flight or fight response every time I hear it, which is a shame because the song is really good, both the original and the remix, so shucks. Enough about the one-up girl in my past content, let's talk a little bit about what I'm currently doing. What are some of your proudest accomplishments as a content creator? I think I will always be proud of the content that I make on YouTube, and it may not seem like it with my super inconsistent uploads, but editing is by far my favorite thing about content creation. There's just something about cutting a video together with the right music and sound effects and creating an end product that's entirely mine that brings me so much joy. It's definitely challenging at times, what with me being a perfectionist and wanting every video to turn out exactly how I saw it in my mind, but it's a process that I'm improving and optimizing every single time that I do it, and it overall makes me very happy. Lastly, Where do you get the motivation to keep pushing out content? I am 110,000% community driven. I think the part of content creation that has always intrigued me the most is building an audience who's genuinely interested in what I do. I just want to share my passions with a little community who cares enough to listen and share the joy that I have for the things that I like with them. It's hard sometimes when community numbers fluctuate. It feels like I'm doing something wrong or letting the community that I've built down, but I'm lucky enough to have a good number of people who will always come back and watch. I want to continue creating and improving as a creator, not only to make my community proud, but to reach more people and share the things that make me happy in order to make them happy too. Those are all the questions we have for today. I hope this updated Q&A helped sort out some questions you might have about why I've changed so drastically on TikTok and why I'm doing what I do now. And I hope it clarified some things and maybe makes you proud to be a part of the Umiverse. Yeah! I've recently been focusing on making some more structured stream events for my Twitch channel, so you might see some of those being edited for YouTube very soon as I actually do the events, but I swear it's coming soon, TM. So if you want to stay up to date with any of my projects, make sure you subscribe here, as well as maybe check out my other socials. I have so many of them. I have my TikTok at uwumi, I have my Instagram, not uwumi, Twitter, not uwumi, Discord, discord.gg/umi, and my Twitch channel, of course, twitch.tv/uwumi. But that's gonna be about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's a little different than my edited Twitch highlight content, but I hope you still enjoyed it. If you have any ideas for future Twitch streams that you want to see, or maybe even YouTube videos, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that'll be it from me today. I hope y'all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Umi, and I'll see y'all next time.